Welcome to SemiWoke.
Welcome to SemiWoke. I'm Sheria Mattis.
I'm Pranav Bihari, and this is a podcast where Sheria, a queer black comedian, teaches me, a cishet male, one woke concept a week in order to turn me gay.
Nope. No.
Okay.
No. You can.
Now?
That's not enough. You have to become the spirit of the fleck of glitter in a Go-Go Boy's ass crack.
Okay, I was with you right until the last part and was like, I am that until
That's right.
until that
That's
part.
an important speck of glitter.
As a straight dude, I can relate to this, though, that I have found glitter in my butt crack
Oh my God. Did you
from women.
used to twerk in pieces?
No, just, I found glitter in the most there was a time when glitter was fucking everywhere. Everyone was always wearing glitter.
Yep.
And, when you out there in these streets,
That's
like
right.
it used to be, you would get glitter on you.
Especially with the weird little bisexual girls.
And glitter is hard to get rid of.
You never
too.
get rid of it.
It's like sand.
That's right. It's worse than sand.
It's worse than sand.
To you way.
It sticks to you.
Yes.
So no matter how hard I would scrub or something, I would show up somewhere, they'd be like, you've been getting some butt, some pussy, huh?
Yeah.
What's going on? Because I have glitter in some weird place.
Pixie just ejaculated.
Yeah, exactly. Tinkerbell just busted on me.
Just squirted on your face. That's what it's true. If you clap your hands, Tinkerbell squirts
on your face. I got bukkake by Tinkerbell.
That's right. That's right.
It's nice. This is the first queer and straight collaboration since
Mitch McConnell and Lindsey Graham.
Wow, nice. Pistol.
That's right. That's
You're
right.
out with it.
Look, listen.
It used to be Lindsey Graham and John McCain, though. And
well, he's dead now.
and he's dead now.
He's dead now. He's in hell where he belongs. I'm so sorry about that.
Lindsey Graham really gives your community a terrible name.
I listen. He's just gay. He's not queer. He's just gay. He just likes dick, and that's the only thing that he has in common.
He likes
queer
two things:
people.
dick and unjust war.
That's right. That's right.
That's his king.
That's his kid.
That's his BDSM.
That's
king,
right.
Actually,
God, like, girl, just come out.
seriously,
Be happy.
it's terrible.
But fuck her.
But fuck her.
But
indeed.
fuck her. Actually, don't butt fuck her.
Don't.
Anybody out there that's fucking Lindsey Graham, you have to stop.
Yeah.
All you fucking, and I feel you, I understand sex work is work and you got to survive, but don't be giving him, if you're at least giving Lindsey Graham head, bite it a little bit. Just bite it. Just
He probably likes that.
Yeah, actually.
If you want to, give him pussy. That's, you know what I mean?
That's what.
That's like the garlic to Dracula. You know what I mean? That's the
Yeah.
He'd be like, I do declare, whatever he would do. Oh, the Dickens. Oh, heavens. Keep that pussy away from me. I'm Lindsey Graham.
This is starting to get problematic. You making fun of Lindsey Graham's obviously gay lisp. And
I'm just more of a Southern fan
it is,
than
he's a
anything.
specific Southern gay dialect that is very
I'm just imagining this voice coming from underneath a Klan hood now. And now it's time for the Latin of the cross, y'all.
Right.
Isn't it pretty? That's like the Southern boy.
Oh God, yeah.
That's Lindsey Graham.
But rest in peace to Leslie and Jordan, our good gay Southern.
Okay, I don't know who that is, but okay, I know. Here we go. This is like clockwork. Okay.
Okay, but Leslie Jordan is a famous character actor. He played.
Oh,
Family
right. Of
Leslie.
course. No, I know
Yes.
Leslie Jordan. Yes,
Yes,
of course.
yes, thank you.
Of course.
Okay, put some respect. on his
Okay,
name.
sorry.
That's right. Rest in peace, you beautiful little Southern nugget. I love you.
Wunderbar.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know why I just.
I don't know why you said that either.
Wunderbar.
What are
you teaching me about today?
Oh, today we're going to discuss Rainbow Capitalism, also known as pink capitalism, homo capitalism. You're not allowed to say that.
I can say it on my Muay Thai gym's Instagram.
That's right.
Every 2 weeks, they'll go on a queer liberation screed,
Heck yeah.
and it looks like the construction paper scissor marks on the IG stories. I'm like, someone's going off right
That's
now.
right.
I'll tap on it. It's like, don't be a homo capitalist.
Yes. Okay, you're getting it from all.
Be into queer anarchists.
That's right.
Don't be a homo.
Don't be a rainbow capitalist. Don't be a homo capitalist. Be a queer anarchist.
Right.
That's what it is. We're gonna talk about it from a few different perspectives.
Okay.
Because there's some people view rainbow capitalism as a good thing,
Mhm.
right? brands slap a fucking rainbow flag on their shit for the month of June. They get a bunch of goodwill and a bunch of money.
Yep.
And then they take that money and they immediately give it to a bunch of fucking Republican senators.
For sure.
Who are trying to destroy your rights.
For sure.
That's one facet of Rainbow Capitalism.
Right. Right. We got a maybe mild interruption. Do you know where the buzzer is, Connor? It's just right across from the door next to the modem on the wall. Sorry about that, and thank you.
Also, shout out to Connor for
Connor, how do we pronounce Connor's last name?
Kviatchin.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at you.
I can pronounce white people's names.
You're an ally to the white community.
I am.
Officially,
I really
after
I
that.
think white people are doing their thing. I appreciate them.
Okay.
Doing their thing.
Wow.
Their thing.
This is quite a trajectory. Our first episode, you were like, white people are the literal devil. You're like, they're evil. The way you present it to be like, come on, we know they're evil.
I thought we were on the same page with that. White people deny they try to be the white people who try not to be evil are my favorite people.
Yeah,
because I feel like it's like in them.
Yeah, it's look, it's in all of us a little bit.
It is
it's the nature of power.
That's right.
You know?
That's right. It is the nature of power. But
It's
also
the
they
nature of
did eat each other.
What do you mean?
In Europe, they were eating each other for a very long time. One of the main sort of
this sounds like some Hotep history.
No,
right
this
now.
is real. This is a real thing. Europeans were eating
The
each
white
other.
man were out there eating.
They really were out there eating each other. Like you should look up the history of cannibalism in Europe.
Holy shit!
Yeah, it's pretty bad. And then he came and was like, the indigenous people are eating each other, and it's like, no, he's eating her pussy. You've never seen that happen before.
There was a whole myth about cannibalism, and
it
was just one of the many ways of maligning people of color in the world. They're cannibals, they're headhunters.
And meanwhile, he's like chewing on his homie's foot.
I know. And look, the fairest assessment you can have hit chewing. He's got some foot. He's got some Kentucky Fried foot in his mouth.
They fucking crazy out there. No.
I mean, the thing that you have to accept is that everybody was decapitating each other at a certain point.
At a certain point, someone decapitated someone else, but I do believe that there is a history of peace in a lot of indigenous cultures because we literally couldn't survive the level of destruction that has been brought about by Western civilization. We were able to survive for then. Now we're like on a dying planet.
I know.
Like 35 years.
That's true. That is true.
It's just what it is.
Earth is definitely in its flop phase right now.
Sure. And she was going for a really long time.
It's true.
This is like when The Simpsons got new writers.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. I love the new Simpsons writers.
That means you know one. Okay. Well, there it is. There it is.
And she's great, but everybody else sucks.
Okay.
No.
Good. What are you teaching me about this week?
So that's right. We already went over this. Rainbow capitalism, pink capitalism, homo capitalism, and in all its forms. Let's actually talk about what some people view as the positive aspects.
Okay. Are we talking about the explosion in the price of lube? Like, what are we talking about here?
Actually, we're talking about all the lube discounts.
The lube discount.
That's right. I mean,
there's lube inflation happening.
There's some, and I don't necessarily conflate capitalism itself with any marketplace, any selling or whatever. I don't really like that, but for the sake of the argument, let's say some people say rainbow capitalism. One of the initial forms of rainbow capitalism are gay bars.
Okay.
Little queer shops.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And I support the shit out of those. Where would I get my necklaces? If not for, but I don't know if we can really. Fine, sure. The girl on Etsy making dyke necklaces, for sure. She's a rainbow capitalist. Fine.
Yeah.
But I think that's a bit of a misnomer.
Well, wait, is the person making queer necklaces on Etsy, is that a capitalist? Because that's somebody who's working for themselves. They control the means of labor.
For sure.
Right.
They do control the means of production. They control it.
They're not using their surplus labor to support fucking whatever, Raytheon or some shit.
Yes,
you know
exactly.
I mean?
Exactly. As long as they're not.
Yeah.
As long as they're not.
Unless they make a Raytheon in rainbow letters necklace.
I'm sure Raytheon has there's gotta be a Raytheon pride.
No, they're definitely they've definitely created a missile that has a Prince Albert piercing on it. You know?
That's so funny. Yes, like for sure. There's it's insanely evil. But I'm hungrier than I thought I would be. But
okay. I got some kimchi jjigae for you.
Oh, I can't wait. Yeah. So that's one form of rainbow capitalism that people think is good. Just kind of queer people selling things.
Right.
I don't necessarily say that's capitalism. I
Right.
think that's just selling and trading, which has existed way before capitalism. But fine, sure, we'll give that to y'all. But the rest is bad.
Right.
The rest is bad. I think one example of rainbow capitalism could be corporations slapping fucking rainbow pride flags on something for the month of June and showing their support to the queer community while also completely abandoning the queer community the minute it isn't.
But I feel like you come from a very distinct perspective on queerness too, which is that to you, queerness is a radical activity, which is in itself inherently anti-capitalist.
Yes.
Right. Whereas, and I think it's an undeniable fact that there's a ton of queer people who have no interest in that, and who love capitalism and believe in capitalism.
Shouts to Milo Yiannopoulos. We have queer Nazis.
Right. Sure. Yeah.
I'm not calling them queer. They're gay.
Okay. That's an interesting distinction, but
they're gay. They're not queer. Or you may like people of the same sex or whatever. You may fuck people of the same sex, but to me, you're not queer.
Okay.
If you don't also have a queer politic.
Right.
Sorry.
So that's very interesting. I mean, is that like a harsh dividing line in the gay queer community?
Maybe not. I honestly don't think I don't think enough. I think out of the people who have some degree of class consciousness, queer people definitely are have a lot of class consciousness. But there are also a lot of like class traders and people who do not who don't they think of their sexuality as the end all be all. It's who they fuck. Their identity is who they fuck, and it's not about creating community or reimagining like your relationships from the perspective of
which would you say how, and if we can reduce it to this, what would you say is, I mean, would you say that you're in the minority in terms of how you perceive you are? Right?
I would say so. If I were in the majority, we'd be in the midst of a revolution.
Yeah. In terms of gay people and queer people.
Yes, there would be, because I feel like more queer people are feeling comfortable to come out, which is inspiring all the backlash, of course. But I think it's going to take maybe more time than we actually have on this planet to get enough people together to actually turn that into, to understand queerness as something outside of just who you fuck.
Right.
To understand queerness in terms of how you define a community, how you define relationships, and how you want to make inside of imagining a better world, right? Part of being queer is having to have the imagination of how am I going to present my gender outside of what I'm told is gender expression? How am I gonna love people? How am I gonna create relationships outside of what I'm told is the only way to create relationships within the confines of heterosexual marriage? All of that requires imagination that should then lead to us being like, well, like if I can create a family made of people that aren't just inside of, just not two people.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Social reorganization.
But also maybe like we don't need tax breaks specifically for a 2-parent household or whatever. Maybe we should view our responsibility to one another in the terms of a community. Right? Like maybe.
Right. But this is where you confront the dark genius of capitalism, which is its ability to take anti-capitalist, what could be anti-capitalist forces, and use them to reinforce the power of capitalism.
100%.
Right? And you don't just see this with queer stuff, right? Like right now, there's a whole slew of movies out that have been coming out over the past 5 years that are all critical of capitalism, but they're all really, in a weird way, kind of reinforcing the power.
Because they're all written by fucking rich kids.
Sure. You know, so it's like the critique, when you have that level of critique and it becomes permissible and to the point where it's mainstream, it is absolutely, it's more of an inoculation against any radical forces.
And that's a really good example because people are using that politically. You know, you've heard of the LGBT Alliance and all these people, like the people who were like, we hate trans people, but we're gay. No, you're not. Like, you're a fucking weirdo. Like, they're like, we're the LGBT without the T.
Right.
But really, they're just reinforcing homophobia, transphobia, and racism. Like, you can't have one without the other. That whole thing where they're trying to isolate themselves from the queer facets of the community.
Right.
Because they ultimately want straight acceptance. They ultimately want to create gay versions of heterosexuality. Right. They don't like all this, no kink at pride, no polyamorous relationships, none of this new shit. We just wanted to be gay, but be the same heterosexual capitalists that our parents were. Right. And
we want to live in the same binaries and the same, all of the same dualities that already exist.
Already exist.
We just want to be acknowledged ourselves and allowed to acquire power.
We just want to do it with the people that we actually want to fuck. That's really all it is. Yeah. And acquire power and use that power to oppress as they were oppressed. That's what power looks like, and we're all supposed to strive for power. But like the thing with rainbow capitalism is also, yes, it's corporations using queer identity and converting it into dollars, and then converting into and let's get into it. Let's get into my girl. Okay, she's gotten so much shit on the internet from every direction, and
wait, who are you talking about?
I was talking about my girl Dylan Mulvaney.
Oh God.
Okay. Wait. No. All right.
Okay. Yeah.
Here's the thing with Dylan Mulvaney. She seems like a very sweet girl. She seems like she's fun and full of energy. And I am not hating on her for getting her bag, but I do not think queer liberation is going to come from SpawnCon.
Dude,
I think it's coming from that.
Dylan Mulvaney.
And at the end of the day, I'm sorry, Dylan Mulvaney is a skinny white girl. They're not giving them kind of fucking ad stuff. They not giving them AdSense dollars to fucking T.S. Madison. They not giving them AdSense dollars to fucking Candy from Pose. What's her name? Oh my God, I'm the worst person in the world.
I have no idea. Dylan Mulvaney is fucking annoying, dude. Can we just be real about it? Dylan Mulvaney, she's a fucking Disney adult. She's a fucking Disney
for
adult.
sure.
I despise this kind of person. It's obviously not even has nothing to do with the queer. It's like that level of white
theater girl energy.
Theater girl. Yes. The two majors that need to be banned outright in this country are theater majors and political science majors.
Oh wait, I'm in agreement. I might be in agreement with both. Actually.
Both need to go. They are literally destroying life as we know it. They are literally the two most totalitarian forces in society: theater majors and political science majors.
You're right.
The most vapid, narcissistic people.
Yep.
And the most pseudo-intellectual people.
Yep.
Boom.
This is how we got the new far right and Lin-Manuel Miranda. Two of the worst.
It's absolutely correct.
Biggest scorches.
It's absolutely correct. Okay. But this is how the Democrats have been able to launder themselves and their own totalitarian tendencies, is via the theater majors.
100%.
You know what I mean?
100%.
I cannot stand them. Dylan Mulvaney, to me, that's a theater major. I don't know
for
her
sure.
background.
She is.
But she's a fucking theater
She
kid.
literally is a theater kid.
You know?
Yes.
Shut it down. Shut it down.
Yes. That excitable, like, oh, Papa. But the thing is, that appeals to the internet people.
I did see one hilarious video of her, though, where she was doing her gender reveal, and I didn't see the video, but she was surrounded by a bunch of chickens. And I was like, this person is a dark comedic genius. She's who needs to be stopped.
Listen, as annoying as she is, she's also so cute. I understand why. If I were like
she's a titless loser.
Okay.
Wow. Shut her down.
She is tits now, by the way.
I cannot stand. Well, I didn't know. I'm not. I maybe she still looks flat. Whatever.
You haven't seen her recently.
I don't like big titties anyway. But.
Yeah, you don't. You do like it just a handful.
I like just a handful.
You know, honestly, Dylan Mulvaney looks like most of your girlfriends.
No, she does not. Okay, Dylan Mulvaney's white. Yeah, and I do not date white girls.
You're right. That's another thing. Like, let's be real. Like, she, at the end of the day, is the trans girl that you want to represent, like young trans girls, because she's thin, she's white.
No, she's who, like, Nabisco.
Yes,
wants.
She's
right?
the perfect, like, she's a perfect vehicle for like soft trans acceptance.
Yeah,
we're just like you.
Right. We can be annoying too. It's such a bizarre way of laundering transness into the mainstream. It's like, look, we're a bunch of fucking annoying losers too. I love Disney. Bud Light. Chugging Bud Light. Shut the fuck up.
Thing. You would think that they sold her Anheuser-Busch, the company, for $13. You would think that every single can of Bud Light came with a new Dylan Mulvaney pussy taste.
Yeah, well, you know what? That was a situation where everybody was so fucking annoying.
That was so insane.
Everybody on both sides
Yes.
of that issue were
100%.
terrifyingly annoying people.
100%.
My favorite was you sent me a video, which I thought was so fucking funny.
This is actually genuinely hilarious.
It's hilarious. It was like two dudes. One of them was black.
Yes,
they were Southern.
was black,
they were
yes.
doing like a rap rock song, which is like a total 90s phenomenon. You know what I mean?
Like Limp Bizkit.
Yeah, like kind of like that. And it was like, fuck Bud Light. But they were still trying to be like weirdly accepting. They're like, and one of the lines in the song was hilarious.
Yes.
You're going to be gay in the bedroom. You want to be trans in the bedroom. I was like, what the fuck does that mean? How do you be trans just in the bedroom?
In the bedroom.
And I was like, I want them. I think I texted you about this. I was like, I want them to do that with every social issue. Be like, yeah, if you want to be for school lunches, be for school lunches in the bedroom. You want to be anti-war in the bedroom.
Well, that still doesn't make it be trans or gay in your bedroom. Like, is that only agoraphobes are allowed
to stay in the closet, basically.
Only queer agoraphobes.
Favorite is like, just be trans in the bedroom. It's like, I'm going to screw on the dick now before I head into the bedroom where I'm allowed to do this.
So silly.
It was really funny.
I also think a lot of that anger and rage is just fake. It's just virtue signaling for sure.
Everybody is performing on both sides.
Yes.
Everybody's a fucking theater kid about
No,
shit.
I definitely believe that there are people on the left who genuinely feel that the path to liberation is rainbow capitalism.
Well, I think, but again, they're not left though, right? That's the point. A leftist is not somebody who endorses liberalism. You know what I'm saying? Like that. So you can't say that they're
You're
left.
right. You fucking right.
So wow, ding.
This is the first time on this podcast you have ever been right.
Wrong.
Wrong.
I'm right about most.
You ate that one thing. You not that bitch or nothing. You ate that one.
What was it? Everybody is performing on both sides of this fucking totally idiotic issue.
I agree.
Right, but it's like, what is the? It's almost the perfect. It's almost like the CIA devised this campaign.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes. Because now...
Let's take the most bottom of the barrel, lowest hanging fruit beer on earth and be like, it's trans now.
Except they didn't even do that. They gave the bitch one fucking can and probably like $10,000, maybe more. She's probably not a good manager. She make it back. She make it back. I'm not going to speak on her parts, but not like a ton of fucking money. They didn't give her fucking shares of stock so that she's controlling shares of fucking the company. They gave her one can of beer to do one video on her private fucking TikTok, and these motherfuckers, they have been giving queer people.
Didn't they put her a picture on a can?
That's right. They put her picture on a can.
That's big.
No, not. They didn't sell the pictures of her on the can. It's one can that they sold that they gave to her for her.
Right.
It was one personalized can with her like name.
Do you think it's a personalized flavor?
I
estrogen flavor.
That's that's queer liberation. They're trying to ban fucking gender affirming care. So if Bud Light really wanted to champion the trans cause, they put a little bit of estrogen.
A little bit of estrogen. Well, I think alcohol does drive down your T levels in general.
Is that true?
I think so. Connor? Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
This is the No Research Done podcast.
Doctor. That's right. Thank you, Dr. Connor. Wait, so other forms of pink capitalism.
Oh, it's not just capitalism, right? Here's an interesting thing is, and we used to call it pink washing.
Yeah.
And so we were talking about something like, the Israelis, and the anti-war leftist movement and cohort that I used to belong to.
Different word for pink.
Different meaning. They would call it pink washing.
Yes.
So it'd be like the Israelis would be like, look at us, me and Yossi are going to go back and fuck each other in the butt, right?
This is the worst.
Right? Like, you can't do that over in the West Bank. I don't know. I'm taking a German for some reason. Hey, Yossi, come here. It's Mordecai. Come here. Fuck me in the butt. It's a little bit better.
You look more Israeli than you speak.
I know. It's true. Look more Arab than I... But they used to always be like, look at us. We accept homosexuality. Like right-wingers in India do this too, where they're like, we support frottage between two men. We believe in two men fucking in the butt, unlike the Muslims.
That's right. Yes.
So it's pink washing, right?
Yes.
Is also what you call it. But I think that is a much better term than rainbow capitalism, because washing is there, and what we're talking about is the laundering of things, right? You're laundering capitalism by using gay people or queer people,
Sure,
right?
yes.
You're laundering capitalism by
Yes.
using Black people,
Yes.
right? By the MLK shout outs on Twitter and everything.
But it's
right?
not just laundering capitalism. I do think the wash is a good idea because you're also washing over the actual pure intentions of queerness, right? So like the Pride Parade, which was a riot against the police, now has police in
protecting
in the parade.
Definitely.
Literally a float of our oppressors, the original reason why in the parade. And banks fucking having their own floats or whatever. Right. And these kinds of things these are things that are actively working against the queer liberation, that are now using queer money and using people are like, I identify now. Look at me with my Chase Bank rainbow t-shirt.
This is all inevitable. And in my contention, you're going to drag me for saying this. To me, in my mind, the whole trans movement, as in quotes, that exists in this country is now a function of consumerist culture as well. Right?
I don't know about that.
Because the whole debate is about performance.
No, it's not. Wait, what?
I truly, this is the way I see it.
Okay. How do you see it, cis man?
Because, fine, fair, right? Because any movement that happens in this country inevitably has to go that path.
No. Any traces of the movement that you will see in mainstream media will go into that path. But there are actual trans liberation activists that are fighting for real things. They're not fighting to get Laverne Cox on the cover of Time magazine, as great as that is. Right. So they're not fighting for that. They are fighting for measurable legislation that will fight against trans discrimination, which is a real thing that has happened and is getting way worse. They're fighting to create mutual aid. They're fighting to make sure that homeless trans youth have a place to go.
Right. I'm talking about visible.
But the reason why those things are not visible is because of capitalism, because capitalism does not want that stuff to be visible. Okay. There's no money to be made for that.
This is kind of my point.
So that's not fair to reduce the entire trans liberation movement.
But I'm saying what it is turned
to
into.
CNN stuff.
Fair, but this is just touching and riding on the coattails of what we were just talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Right? When you talk about anti-capitalist cinema is now a you know what I mean? It's now a trend that just reinforces it. And all it is part of consumerist culture. And I'm talking about now, I'm not saying that legitimate anarchists and legitimate communist agitators don't exist. Of course they do.
But you were talking about the trans movement.
Right.
As it exists in this country.
Well, to me, what do you call Dylan Mulvaney?
She's not a part of the trans movement. She's just a trans girl with a TikTok.
Okay.
She's not at all a part of the movement. She's not a political figure. She does not advocate for any real social justice issues, and it's not her job to. She is just a little white girl in the world. I don't think it's the job of every trans person to fight for trans liberation. Just as I don't think it's my job as a Black person to fight for racial justice, because I know we ain't never getting that shit. So like it's your job as a trans person to take care of yourself, to sleep, to eat, to rest, and to make use of all of the rights that you were given until you were given the rights that you deserve.
Okay, well then what's your problem with rainbow capitalism?
My problem with rainbow capitalism is that it works to against the actual core of queer liberation, of whole liberation of humanity. Capitalism is bad. It is destroying us. It is killing us. And we need to, if not wholly put a stop to it by cutting everybody's heads off, but we need to we're gonna bleep that on TikTok. We're gonna have to bleep that on TikTok. But like, it's either we have to stop capitalism altogether, or we at least have to put some safeguards against it, because capitalism flies in the face of humanity. We can't get global warming without capitalism. We can't get racist cops without capitalism. Cops exist to protect the fucking 1%. They exist to protect property, private property. We can't get all the things that everybody is fighting for, universal health care, all that shit, outside of just queer liberation itself.
Right.
We cannot get those things with capitalism.
Right.
We can survive capitalism. We can use whatever to survive capitalism for as long as we can until it kills us all. But there's no such thing as real queer liberation capitalists.
Right. So this is the point that I'm making, though, right? And this is going back to my point about the dark genius of capitalism, is that it can take all of these potentially radical movements and absolutely flip them on their head and use them to reinforce capitalism.
Or just hide the actual movement and cover it in whatever. Like, obviously,
sure, it completely marginalizes whatever radical movements actually exist.
But that also means it's not fair to paint every single public trans person as a trans activist. Dylan Mulvaney has never purported to be a trans activist. Never. She is a girl that wants to be famous. Work.
She's a theater kid.
She's a theater girl that wants to be famous. She wants to be put in a Ryan Murphy thing, and probably more importantly, she wants to finance her transition, make sure that she can have housing and regular money and healthcare in a world that would be really reluctant to hire her or keep her. Like, trans discrimination in employment is massive. Obviously,
right?
It's easier for white girls from an educated background. But like Dylan Mulvaney, but like, it's still hard.
Right.
The shit is still hard. People will not rent apartments to you.
You don't think Dylan Mulvaney would describe herself as a trans activist?
And I don't think so. And if she does, I don't know, girl. What are you doing for activism? How is she being? What's she doing?
I'm just asking.
I don't think she would. I think she would definitely describe herself as a trans woman fighting for her own rights, which is every trans woman. Every Black woman has to fight for her own rights, unless you're Candace Owens. Like, every queer person has to fight for their rights in a world that wants to take it away from them. And that's just what you're doing by living, like we were talking about, being Black. And being publicly Black is inherently political. But it doesn't mean that I am a Black activist every time I step outside without my bonnet on.
Right.
Like, it just means that I'm being Black in a world that politicizes that identity. And Dylan Mulvaney is being a white trans girl in a world that has decided to extremely politicize that identity. All the bitch did was drink a can of beer.
Right.
And they flipped. They lost their mind. They brought AR-15s up to shoot.
It's so funny.
Shoot cases.
Well, my favorite part of that is them going and buying several cases of Bud Light.
Bitch, excuse me. They went out and bought cake. So y'all gave more money. And did you hear? But okay, so if anything, that drove, but it should have driven the stock up. And there was a slight stock dip, which is happening everywhere.
Right.
Because capitalism is not a good economic
But also, let's be
system.
real. Like, Bud Light is predominantly drunk by...
Okay, but they have always, since I was a little kid, all these beer companies, since Ellen came out, all of these beer companies...
Wait, Ellen's gay?
Yeah, I know, right? Isn't that crazy? I know. I thought she was going to finally find a husband.
She was obsessed with Tom Cruise.
Oh my God. No, that was Rosie O'Donnell. That was Rosie O'Donnell.
That was so funny.
That.
Her being like,
I love Tom
who himself is gay, which is amazing. It's just like, he's my perfect beard.
Because he's a guy that that we should have talked about that in the Comp Head episode.
Okay.
Because he's a guy that everyone is supposed to, just like Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah.
We're supposed to
You're
find him
brainwashed
attractive.
into, yes, we're compulsory finding them attractive.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And they're not.
And Chalamet is the biggest.
Chalamet is.
And I like him as an actor.
He's a great actor. He seems like a good kid.
Okay, he's not hot though.
Like, come on.
I mean, listen.
He looks like a Victorian doll.
Listen, he looks like Anne Frank out here. I'm just saying, you know?
He looks like a wooden puppet.
Yeah, he does. He does.
He does. He looks like a haunted Victorian child ghost.
He looks like he should be sitting in a rocking chair in an attic.
Yes.
You know?
With his eyes unblinking.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, y'all are not going to convince me that he's hot. He's a sweet kid, but fuck that.
So true.
We're not going to get to Timothy Chalamet. It's a psyop.
This is a comp hat. Because we went back
to comp hat. Yeah, they're trying to force you into comp hat too. Or whatever. And so anyway, like, you could be a person that is publicly trans and not necessarily be a trans activist. And I think the whole thing of and I think a lot of people on the other side, let's talk about the people on the other side. We talked about the crazy people who were shooting cans of beer, but quickly, let's go after
funny.
It's just absolutely unhinged behavior, because the bitch drank one can.
No, she probably spit it out. She probably spit it out after.
Oh, give me the
She
money.
does not seem like a Bud Light gal.
Yeah, she like wiped her mouth with her money. Like, oh, enough.
She had to do a palate cleanse with a mango White Claw.
That's right.
Okay.
It's the official drink of white women everywhere.
Some cum.
I have white women in my life who I love who are obsessed with White Claw, so I always keep White Claw in my fridge in case they come by.
Caucasian Claw.
It's literally White Claw. It brings the white girl's claw out. They love it. 100%. Yeah, that would have made more sense for a sponsorship, by the way.
Yeah, totally. And they would not have suffered at all.
No. Oh my God. Although it would be hilarious to watch a bunch of fucking Karens with the shitty haircut shooting cans or just yelling at cans.
And missing because the White Claw's the can. So much thinner.
Wait, yes. It's a sketch.
Get it? It's too hard to hit.
Yeah, that's so funny. Or they're just yelling at it, demanding to speak to them. So wait. So the people on the left, the liberals that like believe that, you know, queer liberation will come through SponCon. They were so like proud. Look at the proud history of Bud Light's pride, like, because they've always had pride marketing, but I'm pretty sure they also give money to Republicans who want to destroy.
I can't think of a straighter liquid other than, you know, Trump
Natty Ice.
Cum.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. It's the only straight food I can think of top.
I wonder what tastes worse, Natty Ice or Charles Heston's Cum.
Natty Ice.
Yeah, I remember. I went to Fordham. I know Natty Ice.
Natty Ice is definitely it. Should be called Nasty Ice.
Oh God. It's so weird how the rich kids watch that. No. Okay, so there are a bunch of companies with pride marketing. They love pride marketing, and y'all will buy their shit to support them because you believe that is a sign that society has become more accepting of queer people, when we have it's provable that society is absolutely not more accepting of queer people. They probably passed another law in the time that we've had this conversation to ban trans people from fucking eating bread or whatever. Some gluten-free trans person is like, finally. So like, wait, let me go over the ones. Amazon. Amazon is so evil. I don't shop at Amazon. I don't buy things from Amazon. I try very hard not to, not because I think anything can be done about it, but because when we are on the Bezos slave ships, I want to be the smuggest person. I'm going to be like, well, how'd that 2-day shipping go? I waited for my packages, but, you know, whatever. I guess we'll all be paying cotton.
Oh, God. You can't say Bezos slave ship and then say 2-day shipping. That conjures too much.
That's right.
It's like Bezos getting into the slave trade.
How's that 2-day shipping going now? Now we're going to be shipping.
Your mail order bride will arrive overnight. Here's a tracker.
That's right. They're going to ship us 2 days. Yeah. Anyway, they donated over $450,000 to politicians. That's just what is measurable. Who legally measurable? Amazon. To politicians who voted against the LGBTQ plus Equality Act. Yeah. They still do their pride stores. Yeah,
of course, dude. Of course. Again, it's all about protecting the bag. Right.
Walmart too, $400,000 to politicians. That's just because that's how much they're allowed to send. Right. I'm sure there's more, baby. Specifically to politicians that sought to block equality legislation. Home Depot, like AT&T donated $1 million to 163 different Republicans. Including Kevin McCarthy, girl, just to vote against the bills.
Just to vote against?
I mean, probably for other things.
Yeah, too. There has to be a bit of a demarcation there.
There's probably for other things too.
A bit of individuation there.
But let's be real, they're protecting their capital because ultimately queer liberation is destroys, because queer liberation also includes the protection of the planet. It includes giving people help without having them having to
Okay,
pay
but
them.
says you. Right?
No, not just says me.
If you ask, what if you were to ask Dylan Mulvaney what is queer liberation?
I'm pretty sure Dylan Mulvaney also, when she was coming out, when she was recognizing her identity, that she was around queer people who helped her, not for money, but because they understand the need for community. I'm sure she has a community of queer people who have lived with her, or she can stay with, who help take care of one another, who work. I'm sure she also, as much as she's not an activist, I'm sure she donates a good portion of her money to fucking housing homeless trans youth, which is the worst thing you can do under capitalism. Is house a person who is not only queer but not legally allowed to work. And you know what I mean? These are the most undervalued people under capitalism. And queerness already posits that we have an inherent value, not because of what we contribute to capitalism, but just because we are here. And that is ultimately like the biggest statement of queer liberation, and it flies directly in the face of capitalist ideology, because that can't be possible. You have to work for your value.
But again, that is your concept of queer liberation.
No, this is, if you read actual queer theory, this
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
If you just took those two words, and you said this at the beginning of the episode, you said, no, they're not queer, they're gay.
Yes.
Right? So maybe that's the distinction that you make. Is that a common distinction, by the way, in your community?
I mean, I feel like that's just me being a commie.
Okay.
I think it's mostly me
being a commie cunt.
Yes, absolutely. I'm a commie
serving
cunt.
Commie cunt.
I'm always serving commie cunt. Like, yeah, funny.
Yes, Mal. 5-year plan. My 5-year plan.
That's right. Yes, beach. That's right. My 5-year plan. Y'all wait till I'm dictator. We're gonna fix all this. Don't worry about it. So like, yeah, whatever. And so I just would challenge people, but there are definitely, I see what you mean. There are a lot of gay people, especially my gay elders, a lot of white gay elders, especially a lot of cis white gays, who believe that queer liberation is basically being enmeshed into straight society, like giving up the kind of spiritual and the connection to community, and sacrificing that for straight acceptance.
I need to make a clarification, because we are going to move on soon.
Yes.
When I said that Dylan Mulvaney's a titless loser, it was not about top surgery or anything like that. It was just about her general white girl persona.
Okay. Well.
Okay. Because then you brought up her needing top surgery. I did not want people to get that.
She didn't get top surgery. Top surgery usually for trans masked people who were
sorry,
yes,
I know the term.
That's just breast augmentation, which is what
my sole objection to Dylan Mulvaney is being a Disney adult in a theater.
Okay,
that needs to be on the record.
Yeah, because I was so shocked to hear you talk about a girl with little titties in a disparaging manner.
Yeah.
You love a little titty bitch.
I do, actually.
I'm actually sorry. Like, literally, Dylan Mulvaney looks like so many of your girlfriends, except for the whiteness. If she were Asian, done. If she were Asian,
and that's not even true either. I've dated a lot of voluptuous Asians. I'm just saying.
You once told me Pippa Middleton had a fatty, so
no, I did not.
Yes, you did.
Slander.
Yes, you did.
Slander.
I got the text messages.
Just stop it.
I will bring the text messages,
dude.
Anyway, whatever. Support.
Getting canceled out here on my own.
You really?
Podcast.
Look at how you talking about Dylan Mulvaney. She got so much money, she could end you right now. She'll call Oprah right now.
Good. If she knew I existed.
Yeah, she doesn't. She's too busy being rich. And
she'll ask her buddy Joe Biden to drone strike me, to vaporize me.
Literally, she could ask him to do that. He won't give us any rights, but he'll definitely drone strike the shit out of you. Drone strike a brown person? Yeah. Obama's like,
another day. Just another day at the office. Yeah. Let me get on all this.
Let me get on this. That's my favorite thing to do. Okay, so anyway, what is the point of all this? Is me rambling about rainbow capitalism. The point is support one another in queer communities. Think of like queerness outside of just who you're fucking, and more of like what kind of world do you want to create for people like you?
That's the alternative for you.
That's the only thing that we can do. It's far beyond. And if you read any queer theory, it follows me like queer politic is a part of it. It's also fucking, but it's not just fucking.
No, I
that's what they want.
I have a little bit of knowledge about that. And I think you're totally right.
Yeah.
To me, it's just a very fascinating thing, though, and this is about capitalism, right? Is again the ability of it to take multiple vectors of what could be totally anti-capitalist and absolutely radical, and just using it to reinforce.
That's right, and that's not a mistake. That is a tactic. That is a tactic to suppress revolution. That's a tactic to suppress.
Absolutely, it's an inoculatory effect, actually, right? Is you give it a little injection, and then it guards you from the actual threat of it.
Anything that expresses humanity, capitalism will take it and strangle it and paste a fucking barcode over it and sell it back to you.
It's true.
So
it's true.
Just, you know, like, and you know what I mean? And like, you know, no shade to any queer person that's getting a fucking bag. Like, listen, if Walmart hit us up and was like, here's a big bag of money.
Look, we're all in this fucking world now.
That's right.
You know what I mean? It's very difficult to get out of it. Yeah. Right? Without being like some form of a
general strike.
Doomsday prepper general striker.
What I mean? There's a way to do this, whatever. Like, if I say the way to do this, they'll fucking shoot me, but there is a way to.
All the people who have the keys for liberation from capitalism all actually exist on a highly individualistic libertarian spectrum, you know?
Because that's what we're forced into.
Yeah. Have you ever seen that movie? I love it, Captain Fantastic. You would love this movie.
I would like
It's an amazing movie. Yeah. It's with my boy Viggo Mortensen, who I love. And it's just like he lives out in the sticks. He's like a radical anarcho-communist, and his family, he runs his family like a commune. And it's also about him grieving the death of his wife and stuff like that. And he has to go on a road trip with his family. And then thus they're exposed to the outs. They're like almost communist Amish vibes. Like they spend all their days reading like really radical anti-capitalist theory.
But
then they have to go out on like, you know, into the world, and they have to experience it.
I love it.
It's actually a really fun movie.
I love it. Okay, I'll watch it.
But in a way, you could discuss it in a lens of being very counter-revolutionary, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But you might like it.
even though you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to go get property.
Yeah.
They'll come.
But I love Vigo.
Okay, work. Not my ministry.
I'm a huge Vigo fan.
But work. I like his hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, also like.
I like his eyes.
Send us. Obviously, I'm just talking right out of my butthole. And so
send us money.
Send us. Well, yes, but also send us. If you were obviously more educated about these issues and theories, and obviously read a lot more articles, hit us up. Tell us.
Yeah, if you're one of 5 people.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
86 followers.
No. I meant the people who are truly really well versed.
Those people are listening to
critical theory.
Those kids are listening to
maybe.
They should. Hope so. Or if they're not, they fucking should be. Listen to SemiWoke, or you're a racist and a homophobe. You hate trans people. Not listening. Every time you don't listen to this podcast, you hate trans people. That's an act of hate against trans people.
Okay, there you go.
Yep.
There you go.
Sure, anything to get listeners.
Yeah.
See, I'm a Rainbow Capitalist.
There it is.
We gotta do what we gotta do.
Grand reveal. That's off.
I've been Joe Biden this whole time. I've been Ronald Reagan this whole time.
The moral of this episode is no more theater majors or poli-sci majors, and then everything that you said.
Yes, I agree with that.
That's my big message that I want everyone to know.
Good. Yeah. I can't wait till you get canceled from this episode. Should we move on to
that's kind of my role in this podcast, though,
That's your role.
Is the cancelable positions. But no, really. I'm SemiWoke.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. And also, so am I. I'm one of those people who don't mind when people say dyke.
Yeah, you enjoy problematic humor a lot of times.
Yeah, but I also am not as uptight about certain things as I think a lot of younger, more socially conscious queer people are.
Right.
I kind of don't care about any of the little stuff.
No.
I just want I want liberation now.
You do.
I want them to go to the wall.
I want liberation now, mommy.
That is a great chant. That is a great chant. Liberation now, mommy. I love that.
More like daddy, though.
No.
Both, actually.
Daddy's not going to give us liberation. We got to get it from
mom. That's fair.
That's true. Let's move on to our next segment.
Problematic phase. What do you got for me? It's your turn today.
Okay. This is going to be a heavy one.
Okay.
This is going to be kind of a heavy one. Okay. So I was going to do a Bernie Mac joke, but actually changed it because last week, Moonbin from Astro, trigger warning, died by suicide. Trigger warning.
Can you explain who any of these people are?
Okay. So Astro.
Okay. You were outside of Korea, And actually, no, there is a cohort of demented people like you who are obsessed with K-pop.
Ton of us, okay?
There is.
There's a ton
There's a
of
K-hive.
us on the spectrum that love K-pop.
It's so true. It is a marker of being on the spectrum. For sure.
Yes. K-pop is not just like, it's not like you just like the music genre. It becomes a hyperfixation.
Yeah.
I also
know. You are such a chimera of a person because you are like the Jamaican, like Larry David, who then also speaks Korean a lot. And is obsessed with K-pop.
That's the most accurate representation of me. Okay, Astro was a boy band. Is a boy band. You might not know Astro, but you know Chaunwoo. Chaunwoo's somewhat famous. And he kind of popularized them. But also Moonbin. Moonbin had a subunit as well. Anyway, him Moonbin and Moonsua, his sister. Who? Okay, you asked us to laugh. Why do you just keep going? He's made a name for himself in the industry. He had a subunit, and also his sister has also made a name for herself in this industry. He passed away from suicide last week. It was very sudden. Everybody was horrified. He was 25 years old. Very sad.
That's fucked up.
My problematic fave is K-pop. I love K-pop, and as much as I rail against capitalism, K-pop is sort of
girl, you are just fucking in there.
Yeah, it's a I'm less in there, but I used to be.
You are in there.
No.
Okay, you're like a K-pop Rain Man. When you get 50, like if you get 500 yards within the radius of K-Town, you just start uncontrollably jawing off about K-pop. We went to Korean barbecue. I could have sworn we talked about this before, but it's worth mentioning again. You would not shut the fuck up about K-pop. We're there with like 3 other people. We're there to enjoy. We just wrapped our first episode. We were on a high. Yes. And then we get in there, and you're like, you know about Jungmyeon? They were with Astro World. It's like, what the fuck is going on?
Because if something it's my opinion, you have to actively stop me.
You were like the Manchurian candidate. You were like the Pyongyang candidate, okay, or the Seoul candidate.
So not Pyongyang.
Okay, not Pyongyang. Sorry,
terrible.
Just syllable-wise, yeah. Okay. The only K-pop that I have goes, it's more like K-boom. Sorry. Connor liked that.
No, he didn't.
He liked the shittiness of it. Okay. He liked the shittiness of it. That's acceptable.
Yes.
Listen.
Okay, I'm going to explain things.
You were like the Manchurian candidate where you just activated.
Yes.
And then you just went on a
for sure.
K-pop tape.
But I haven't been, part of the reason why, like, I don't know a lot of the newer groups because part of the reason why was because when I was really heavy into K-pop, there were a spate of suicides in like 1 or 2 years.
Yeah.
Of a bunch of people that I loved, that I was like a genuine fan of for a really long time. There was Junghyun, who his birthday was recent, and that was really sad. Junghyun from SHINee, he passed away at 27, really horribly, and kind of seemed like it was extremely planned because his last album felt like a goodbye note.
You know what?
And then there was, I told you this would be a bummer. Okay, hear me out. Okay, and then there was...
The irony is that it's actually the fandom that leads to the suicide.
No, I would argue...
Like, I need to satisfy all these autistic children in America right now.
Okay, but it's partly that. Yes, when you listen to K-pop, you are contributing to a system that exploits and destroys often young people who are being chewed up by this machinery. And yes, it's part of it is the fans, because we're the ones who fuel the demand. But the system itself, and a lot of K-pop fans are gonna flip out when you associate the spate of suicides and other issues in K-pop with the actual industry, because they don't want to know.
For the cameras, K-pop does not exist under communism.
I'm
so sorry.
But you know what does exist under communism? Cute people singing and dancing. We can still have that. We just don't have to steal children from their families at the age of 12 and force them to train nonstop and then work. These kids work nonstop. They get like 3 hours of sleep at best a night, and then they go out and they dance and they sing and they interact with people. They're on TV shows. They're constantly doing commercials, and that's if they're lucky. And if they're not lucky, they're being harmed by the companies that own them. They're being beaten. They're being starved. That's what we should watch one time about Nine Muses, the Nine Muses documentary, Nine Muses of Starship.
Probably not going to. I want to ask you a difficult question.
What?
If you had to choose between queer liberation and K-pop. Which one would it be? Quickly,
I'm
now.
choosing queer liberation because I use K-pop as a
expression,
as a band-aid for the wounds of capitalism.
It's fair.
The reason I need K-pop to pump me up. I need, whenever something horrible happens, there's another fucking mass shooting, my brain just goes to a beautiful K-pop music video. That's where I dissociate to. I need K-pop to survive capitalism.
That's how capitalism gets you.
That's how capitalism gets
It's the disease and the cure.
Listen, you would not have this podcast if it were for K-pop, because I would not leave my house. Okay?
That's fair.
But the problem, and I think that's true for a lot of people. I think also people have a very personal connection to K-pop. I think K-pop kind of really was a good escape from my depression at its absolute lowest. When I wanted to kill myself, I was like, I'm not going to do it because 2PM is coming out with a new album.
That is so crazy. Because it has the opposite effect for me. I'm like, I'm going to fucking kill myself if I have to listen to anything K-pop related for more than 30 seconds.
I think you're probably not. You're probably in the majority.
I'd say it's like an even split at this point socially.
You do love your doot human music. You do.
I do. I do.
Oh, this is great. This is what you love.
I like a lot of different kinds of music.
You love a doot beep beep.
I like electronic music.
You love a beep beep doot.
You added a bit too much personality to that.
I did.
Okay.
And you'll be like, oh, look at girl, this is the shit. Oh my God. You hear that? You hear that beep? You hear them beep?
Listen,
beeps?
you see me out here twerking Susumu Yokota to deep cut, but yeah.
I love when we switch places.
I know, exactly.
I love when we switch places.
You see me out here twerking to Herco S.
Work.
Yeah. Work.
Party.
Herco S.
So a lot of K-pop fans are very hesitant to blame the machine of K-pop for the deaths of so many K-pop stars. You know what I mean? But let's be real. Like, if we actually examine it, like, I'm not so sure about Moonbin. I was not a huge Astro fan, but my favorite group is Yoja Chingu. My favorite group is G-Friend. Shinbi from G-Friend / VVZ has been best friends with Moonbin. Shut up. Has been best friends from Moonbin since elementary school. They went to elementary school together. Shut the fuck up. And so I know Moonbin mostly through their interactions.
Okay, do you need smelling salts right now to get you out of this? Because you're doing it again. Right. Okay, we've covered the problematic behavior now.
No, I haven't. Wait, son, my problematic K-pop, is there an ethical way to consume K-pop? I don't know. But I think we as K-pop fans, because we are the drivers of the demand, I think we need to start demanding protections for K-pop artists.
Like a union for K-pop artists?
Dead fucking ass. K-pop artists need to unionize. Absolutely they should.
Yeah.
Because they are being, they don't get paid until they start making a massive profit for the company. Mm-hmm. So they literally steal these children's lives.
And they basically live in a company town for the majority of
town. They all live together. They're not allowed to have their own lives outside of the company.
Right.
This is a perfect encapsulation of capitalism and exploitation and the Jackson 5. It's basically they took Joe Jackson.
It's actually really perverted to think about a coal mine that is actually just filled with children.
Filled with children.
That are the thing that you're mining.
Yes,
actually.
It is what they're doing. And also, like, they have no control over their face. A lot of times they sign contracts that say if the company demands that they do plastic surgery, they have to do that plastic surgery. That's insane. They're signing over their bodies. For a long time, when I first got into K-pop, it was the 2PM scandal and DBSK scandal, where they were talking about their slave contracts. Same with Hangeng and Super Junior. Okay, I'm a very salient, important point about exploitation in K-pop. But yes, okay, I am going over some things that you have to be silent.
This is so intense right now.
This was supposed to be very serious.
And the worst part is that my phone is hearing all this too, and I'm going to end up with a bunch of fucking K-pop on my phone.
The minute I've gotten so many people into K-pop, I have to wait till like a low point in your life and then seduce you with K-pop, and I'll do it. I'll fucking do it. The point of this is maybe there is no way to consume K-pop ethically, but I think in light of this recent death, there is a way to produce K-pop ethically. Yeah.
Organic, fair trade K-pop.
No, I'm dead ass. Maybe don't steal like Moonbin is another. Everybody who I've Jonghyun
is gonna have like a little corporate tag on it, certified organic, fair trade.
But actually, wait. Unionize. There should be a
But
unionized.
it's just a touch shadier than the other K-pop.
Wait, shut up.
Shouldn't have all the harmful chemicals.
Shut up. But actually, yes, I think a lot of you can't get that kind of dance precision without abuse.
I do.
But I think that we should no more child K-pop stars. I'm against child stars, period. I don't think we should do child labor at all. I know that's a very radical opinion, but unfortunately. But I definitely know child stars. Everybody that I've just mentioned who died of suicide, who are Sully, Jonghyun, and Moonbin, they all started out as children stars. And now we have a group, New Jeans, and I know we're going to get a lot of shit for this, and New Jeans has pops, but they also have a 14-year-old girl. They're also an all-minor group. And I don't think that should exist.
Coal miner. Sorry.
Shut up.
I had to just bring something in there.
I know. It's heavy. It's heavy. And these kids are being you don't know if you have mental health issues. You don't know if you're queer. You don't know if you don't like doing this job. You don't know if your body will suffer from the grueling schedules. You don't know any of that when you're a child and you sign on to do these things. And I think that, and then you're stuck. You can't go back and get a part-time job no matter what. People know you. So I think we're entrapping these young kids into a system that is very unkind to them, very exploitative. And I think we as the fans, the drivers of the product, need to start demanding fair and equitable treatment for the actual stars, the K-pop stars who are just workers.
Whole new intersectionality opening up.
That's right.
Autistic K-pop.
Communism.
Communism.
Yes.
Guys, this is wonderful.
All right.
I love you.
Rest in peace to Moonbin. Rest in peace to Moonbin. And I'm sorry to his friends and family.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much for joining us, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sheria, for teaching me about rainbow capitalism and all that other gibberish at the end. We love y'all. Thank you. Stay semi-woke.
Stay semi-woke.
Stay semi-woke.